It's true that some things change as we get older. But if you're a woman over 40 and you're dealing with insomnia, brain fog, moodiness, and weight gain, you don't have to accept it as just another part of aging. And with MIDI Health, you can get help and stop pushing through it alone. The experts at MIDI understand that all these symptoms can be connected to the hormonal changes that happen around menopause, and MIDI can help you feel more like yourself again. Many healthcare providers aren't trained to treat or even recognize menopause symptoms. MIDI clinicians are menopause experts. They're dedicated to providing safe, effective, FDA-approved solutions for dozens of hormonal symptoms, not just hot flashes. Most importantly, they're covered by insurance. 91% of MIDI patients get relief from symptoms within just 2 months. You deserve to feel great. Book your virtual visit today at joinmidi.com. That's joinmidi.com.
Hello, and welcome to It's a Fandom Thing. I'm your host, Erin Marlowe, and each week I'm joined by a panel of guests to discuss all things fandom and pop culture, primarily from a female perspective. You'll find everything from fanfic to cosplay to Schitt's Creek to Supernatural and everything in between. So put on your favorite piece of fandom merch, set aside that fanfic that you're writing about your OTP, and sit back and enjoy this week's episode. Hello, and welcome to It's a Fandom Thing. I'm your host, Erin Marlowe, and we are continuing our countdown of some of our favorite TV, film, music, podcasts, books, live theater that we loved this year in 2025, which this year was a hard year, but we were able to find some joy in some pop culture. So joining me again, returning from Wednesday's part 1, is first up Carla from OK Real Quick. Hello, Carla.
Hello, Erin. Hello, people out there. Enjoying your eggnog? Your New Year's cookies?
Carla's like, how much more do you want me to say?
I mean, you know I can say a lot more. Please don't give me the time or the opportunity.
And then next up, my producer, Erin A. Hello, Erin A.
Hello again.
Aw, little heart. Sorry, I just love the little heart that Meg just did. And then next is Meg. Hello, Meg.
Hi. I forgot I had to talk.
Just wave at the microphone.
Which is shocking. I'm real good at these audio things, guys.
And then last but certainly not least is Sasha. Hello, Sasha.
Woohoo! I count as 2 podcasts this year now.
Woo!
Setting the records.
Well, I'm glad to have all of you back and to continue our countdown. So we're just going to jump right in with number 5. And as a reminder, my panelists can name up to 3 things that they loved from 2025. So Carla, what comes in at number 5 for you?
I have 2 number 5s, and they're both movies that I watched that I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about them going into it, because one of them has a dude I don't like. The other one, I'm kind of done with superhero movies, and yet apparently I'm not. So the first one that I'll mention is One Battle After Another. Actually, this has 2 guys I don't like, but, you know, they still get hired and still do their job. So here we are. But it really is such a good movie. It's so unfortunately timely in the topics that it touches on. And I like how so much of the movie is centered on Black women and the actions of Black women and how their activism is trying to change the world. I also like that one of the women in it is not a perfect hero. She's not somebody who's just like a perfect woman, because I feel like there have been a lot of movies and TV shows in which they have like one Black woman character and she has to be all the things. Like she has to be, you know, wealthy or brilliant, successful in all of the ways. the right look, the right level of intelligence, whatever. And there isn't the freedom to be messy and to be a problem, not just to herself, but to others. So there's so many things to like about this movie. And Regina Hall is in it, and I adore Regina Hall. So, like, honestly, like, that was 90% of the reason I went to see it in the first place. I'm like, well, Regina's in it. How bad can it be? And then the other movie is, of course, Superman. I have talked about Superman so much this year, and I am not done. I will keep it short because I've already been on 2 episodes of podcasts. One my own, one is a Fandom thing, talking at length about Superman. For one thing, again, a movie this is a superhero movie, but it's talking about very important, timely things as well. Because this movie, I think, it is not a stretch of the imagination in any way to say that it's talking very clearly about the issue of, first of all, the coverage of Palestine and of Palestinian people and what they're going through and the ways in which they are oppressed and the genocide being inflicted upon them. It's also just a really solid superhero story. It not only takes us back to the roots of who Superman is, but also kind of upends one major thing in it that I'm very excited to see how that's going to, touch the story going forward. Because like, to this day, people are like, well, that's not what actually, that can't actually be real. That must be a different interpretation. No. This is what James Gunn meant when he did the thing. When you watch it, you'll be like, oh yeah, okay, I know what it is. Like, I'm being very vague for the 5 people who haven't watched Superman yet. I was like, Meg being one of them. For the other 4 people who haven't watched Superman, it is so good. And it's also very fun. It's a very fun movie. It has fantastic characters, including Mr. Fantastic. Mr. Terrific. That's what it is. See, like, so many descriptor words should not be a character name. All right? Like, that's too difficult for me to keep up with. But I was losing faith in superhero movies, and then I watched this one. And now I'm like, yay, superheroes are good.
Yes. When you introduced this, you said one of these features a man I don't like. I went, okay, this is where one battle after another is coming up.
You know.
Yeah. You'll hear more about that from me, at least. I don't know if anyone else coming up soon. So, Erin A, your 5s?
My 5s, I'm going to go with final seasons of shows and specifically series finales that just destroyed me. The first is the final season of Andor on Disney Plus. First of all, we knew it was the final season because all of this is leading up to the Rogue One movie of like how the rebellion began. And we knew this was the final season, but every episode getting a little closer and knowing that it's the end made me just like a little bit sadder, but also it was really, really, really good. So good. And the acting and the themes being just so incredibly relevant right now of what is happening. And I'm loving that it got awards, which is so rare for a sci-fi show to get. It's just so good. I've already started rewatching it again because it's one of my favorite franchises in the Star Wars universe. It was just so great, and I love that it just kind of explains more to us. And I cannot get enough of Diego Luna. One of the other series finales in the final season was Resident Alien, and I love this show so much. It's so good. It's one that's just constantly like in the rotation of like, I need something, like while I'm doing something, I need something on in the background and I'll just put it on and just listen to it. It's so great. The final episodes, we got lucky that they knew it was the end and they kind of wrapped it up, which made it a lot more sentimental. And like at the end, like literally my husband and I were both crying at like the final scene. So like a core memory for me about this too, of like loving this show so much, is that the cancellation was announced during San Diego Comic-Con the day before their panel. And so it just like, I hate that they did that, but I guess I can see why, because so that they can talk about it. But it was just kind of brought a downer to the whole panel because the cast was like sad, but reflecting on what a great time they've had over the years and stuff. And so it was really good. It was also like just like a really emotional thing to be in a room full of, a couple thousand people that also love the show as much as you do. And you all had just been crushed like less than 24 hours before. So at least we were all together when we found out. But yeah. Oh, that show, if you haven't seen it, it's so good. So good. And I think the last season was really great. And I'm glad that they got the opportunity to wrap it up. And then the final season that I've got is, I think I've talked about this before. It's a show called Transplant on Peacock. And that's another one that the final episode just had me just like crying. And it wasn't even a bad ending. It was just like everything was over. And if you haven't seen this show, it's really good. It's about a hospital and specifically a doctor in Toronto. And he was a doctor in Syria and came to Toronto as a refugee, and how he rebuilt his life and built this life for him and his sister. And it's so good. I'm a sucker for hospital dramas, but like just being Canadian, it doesn't have the same kind of dramas as American hospital dramas do. And everyone's just like, it's Canadian. Everyone's so nice, right? And they have healthcare and they can just run tests and no one's like, oh my God, how much is this going to cost? So it's a great show. And the finale of it, again, I'm glad that they got to wrap it up, because I hate when shows get canceled after the season is over and you're like, but I need to know what's happening to these people. So that was another good one. The whole series was good, but the final season and the last episode was great. And another one that like I thought about it for a long time after I watched it. So it was great.
Awesome. I'm always happy when shows actually end well. I just shared in our Discord TV channel that, this TikTok video that was made about when basically finales can like ruin the whole show. So it's nice when they don't do that.
Yeah.
So Mag, your fives.
So I'm going to go with rich people being bad, or being just bad, terrible people, and my enjoyment of watching it. The Gilded Age, season 3 aired this year. I just started watching it this year because I've been wanting period pieces. I don't know why. I just sometimes it takes place in New York City in the 1880s, and it's just like the rise of basically the railroad barons and tycoons and stuff like that. And they're all awful people. And it's just, I don't know. It's the same creator, Julian Fellows from Downton Abbey. And we all know that I love that trash. Anyway. And the other one is on Apple TV, and it's The Buccaneers. And this is about a group of young women who are American women, and they're husband hunting in the 1870s. And is it like high quality? No, but it's great and it's fun. And season 2 came out this year, and it's just one of those, waiting for more Bridgerton, I guess. So I'm like, give me some more period pieces, and I can only watch Poldark so many times. But yes, that's, I guess, my period, rich people doing rich people stuff, and betrayal and marriage of convenience and all of the, I don't even, it's good. It's good though. I'm not quite caught up yet on season 3 of The Gilded Age because I fell down a rabbit hole of something else. But it's just fun and good. If you like Downton Abbey, if you like period pieces again of rich people not being good people to other rich people, there you go.
Sasha, your fives.
Yep. For my live theater, keeping on that trend, Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. I have never read Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. I have never seen Cat on a Hot Tin Roof. So seeing it at the Denver Center was amazing. The lady who played Maggie the Cat was phenomenal. The entire first 40 minutes of that play is a monologue of her basically ranting at her husband, who is completely checked out. And it was just amazing. So powerful. So that was my live theater. My book is The Devourer of Men, which is part of a series. So Dark, Peter Pan series, and the Lost Boys, there's like 4 in there. Devourer of Men is about Captain Hook and the crocodile. He is in man form, not crocodile form. Just to be clear.
I was going to write it down.
Yeah, the Devourer of Men. So Croc and Hook hook up and get steamy. And Captain Hook is very mad about it, but can't keep his hooks off of Croc. Yeah, that was terrible.
No, I loved that.
But it's, again, dark romance, very spicy, read your triggers. And then for my movie, my 5th movie is Death of a Unicorn, because it was fun and silly, and it had unicorns that were like terrifying. And I love that. So yeah, Death of a Unicorn was my number 5 for my movie. So there you go.
Awesome. I love how you have so many live theater ones, because I miss going to the theater. And Tennessee Williams is one of my favorite playwrights. So, but yeah, that's awesome that you got to see that. So yeah. For my number 5s, first up is Weapons, Zach Krieger's follow-up to Barbarian. I mean, they're not the same, but although there are all these themes of, like, there are all these, not themes, but all of these, like, essays and people, like, theorizing that they're in the same universe somehow, which is interesting. But I really enjoyed this one. This one is so much funnier, I think, than you really think it's going to be. And then there's some darkness to it. But there are so many comedic elements. There's one character who is just so hilarious, but doesn't feel like wrong or out of the blue at all. I thought the performances were great, especially by the young kid who I should have had his name pulled up, so I'm going to pull up his name, but I want to mention him also because he's also in Days of Our Lives. And he plays Chad's son, Thomas. That was mentioned in our part 1.
I was watching a piece of that episode and I was like, wow, this little boy is so good. And Erin's like, well.
Yeah, Carrie Christopher, who played the boy Alex in Weapons, is also in Days of Our Lives. So again, that's a reminder that just because people are on soaps doesn't mean they are bad actors. A lot of great, wonderful actors come from soaps, including this young actor who's just so good in Weapons, just so phenomenal in Weapons. So I loved it. I try not to say too much about it because just like with Barbarian, the less you know, the better. So go in as blind as possible for that one. Next up is a documentary that Kim mentioned last week on our Pop Culture and Fandom News episode, and that's the documentary Predators. Trigger warnings galore for child abuse. It's the documentary about the series To Catch a Predator that Chris Hansen used to host. And this is a documentary showing how, capitalism getting in the way of trying to supposedly do good and catch these awful men who are predatory and who are pedophiles. But, there's more to it. I don't want to say too much because I think you should watch it. But as long as you're okay with the subject matter, because it is a lot, because you're seeing a lot of like clips of the show, but also a lot of people that when the show got canceled for a very specific reason, a lot of amateur detective people took it upon themselves to take up the mantle, and they have like YouTube shows where they do kind of the same thing. And it's kind of gross. It also, to me, shows, and I watch a lot of true crime stuff, but it shows to me how the harms of true crime, like some of the aspect of true crime that can become harmful. And it's just really good. It's really good. It's on Paramount Plus. I recommend it. Yeah, I mean, you're seeing a lot of that with the true crime stuff with Rob Reiner's passing. You're seeing the true crime community is being frankly disgusting with that whole situation. But I think this is kind of like a spotlight on that. And the director directed this for a very, very particular reason, which I'm not going to spoil. But that also, I think, gave it a very more intimate feel. And Chris Hansen is kind of a dick. So he's just fame hungry, power hungry guy. So yeah. And then lastly is another Apple TV show, and that's The Studio. I think this is such a great TV show about the Hollywood studio system that I cannot believe is being allowed to be made and to be shown on a huge studios platform, because Seth Rogen is just taking down so much of that system, and he's been inside that. And you know that these are actual conversations that go on, and there are so many people that play themselves, but a more different kind of version of themselves. The version of Ron Howard that Ron Howard portrays is so you have to see it. I'm not going to tell you because it's a totally different version of what you're expecting Ron Howard to be like, but I enjoyed it. I think it's hilarious. Catherine O'Hara, of course, is just always phenomenal in anything that she does. And I just think it's just a really, really great take. The studio system, it has been renewed, which makes me very happy. And yes, those are my 5s. Okay, so on to number 4. Carla, what comes in at number 4?
Number 4 is a group of movies that are, the headliner is a woman, or at least one woman. There's like more than one in some of these. The first one is Thunderbolts. And the reason that it's ranked up so high is because what it deals with, I think, it's dealt with in such a good way. And I think it's a movie that it feels like might be helpful for some people. You're going to have to like read trigger warnings and stuff. I don't want to give too much away if somebody doesn't want to hear too much about it before they go in to see it. I went in to see it without knowing almost anything about the plot. I knew, who the characters were basically, but not the plot. And especially the ending was so beautiful, and just, again, me sobbing at a superhero movie, and it's ridiculous. Like, my God, what is wrong with me? But it's really good. And Florence Pugh was great in it. Knowing what we know now about David Harbour, I'm like less enthusiastic about him, but the character was very good. And I cannot remember his name, so this is not a diss on him as a human being, but he is Bill Pullman's son. So he is somebody Pullman, and he was fantastic in it. And that's not just the nepotism, because I love Bill Pullman so much. He was genuinely so good. And, when you are watching a movie and you're like, wow, this guy looks so much like While You Were Sleeping era Bill Pullman, it turns out to be his actual son. It's like, oh, okay, that's pretty neat. So there's that. Then Freakier Friday. I don't have like a ton of nostalgia for Freaky Friday, because my Freaky Friday nostalgia comes from the Jodie Foster one. So the Lindsay Lohan one, I'm like, it was cute. It's fine. I went to see it because it was playing and I needed something to do. I needed a way to occupy my time for a couple of hours. So was not expecting to be so moved by it. There was so much about it that was like so nice. And for people of, that generation, as in, like that border between Gen X and Millennial, there's a lot in it that we can relate to as people who are in the grown-up stage after we have seen ourselves reflected as adolescents, and now being the grown-ups and being like, oh, this is why my mom was so hard on me about this thing, or this is why we have chores, or this is why we have these things that we have to do, is to teach us to be responsible adults. Which I get, it was the lesson of the first 2 Freaky Friday movies. Okay, like, I got it. But the extra layer to this is that, you have Jamie Lee Curtis's character, who is an older woman. So now you have like the grandma generation in it too. And Manny Jacinto's in it, and he's beautiful. Just a beautiful, beautiful person to look at. And probably a nice person too. I don't know. He's just very handsome, and I'm always so happy to see his face in anything. And Chad Michael Murray was in it, but I tolerated it anyway. I didn't like cough up any popcorn. So it was good. It was so good that I didn't, run out screaming when his face was on the screen. So, and then, okay, this movie, apparently everybody hates it. Everybody loathes it with a burning passion if you look at the rating that it has right now. But I loved it, and I'll tell you why. The movie is Ella McKay. And the reason that I loved it is that it feels very much like a late 90s, early 2000s movie. And it's set in like 2008 or something like that. But the reason that I like it so much is that it has a lot of tropes that are similar to movies about women who are, career women and doing career woman things and, learning that they can be career women but still have inner lives, but not in a late 90s, 2000s way. It's a more enlightened version of that where they don't knock her for being driven and they don't knock her for being intelligent. It's more like they're knocking the world around her for not appreciating everything that she brings to the table. And she has to make some really tough choices, the character does in the movie, that I think are handled really well. I like the supporting cast as well. I think that they did great. It was a lot of fun for me, and apparently me only. Like, if there was like one thing in it that I didn't like, but even that wasn't like that big of a deal, and it also didn't involve Ella. It involved her brother. But I haven't read the critiques of it. I haven't read the criticism. I'm probably not gonna, because I don't care. I like the movie a lot. And the reason that it's ranked so high for me is because it gave me a very nostalgic feeling of watching a movie from that era without coming away thinking, oh, I wish that she had done this in a more modern way. I wish that she had made a decision that centered her instead of centering her man. So to me, like, this was a very progressive movie. I don't know what people are upset about, but, keep your criticisms to yourself and shut your faces with your, like, 22 Rotten Tomatoes score.
Erin A.
I was actually going to also say this time around the studio, because I've got a collection of Apple TV shows, and the studio, I loved it so much. I'm looking in Wikipedia, calls it a satirical cringe comedy, and that's like so accurate. Just like so much of it was just like kind of uncomfortable to watch. Like, this is, a lot. I do want to shout out though, the scoring of the show is so good. The way the music builds up scenes, it's so great. The scoring was done by a man called Antonio Sanchez, and he's so good. He's been nominated for some awards even for this show. He's done other things too, but I just wanted to shout that out because whenever I notice the music, I always want to talk about that. But yeah, excellent show. Also on Apple TV, a limited series called Smoke with Taron Egerton and Jurnee Smollett and a boatload of other great actors. It's based on, or inspired by, a podcast based on a real arsonist, and it's really good. There's a lot of twists and turns and just ickiness of this man, and but it's so good. And I hate watching Taron Egerton be a bad guy, but I like watching him. So it's really great. I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, I can't, like, he seems like such a nice guy when he plays a bad guy. I hate it. And also Pluribus on Apple TV is like currently in its first season, I think. I don't think all the episodes have aired. I don't know, but it's so, like, I don't want to give anything away because I know people probably haven't even started watching it yet, but it's good. And go watch it. It's kind of like sneaking sci-fi into for people that probably wouldn't watch sci-fi normally, and I love shows that do that. But it's really good. It's very interesting. I think the basic premise is like there's 13 people on Earth that don't get infected by this other thing, the aliens, I guess. I don't even know if it's actual aliens, but there's some mystery there. So it's really great. I haven't seen any reviews or anything on it, but I enjoyed it. And I think a lot of people are watching right now because it just came out.
Yeah, that's on my list. And I didn't finish Smoke. I only got it. It's not because of the show. But yeah, Taron Egerton is so flippin' slimy and creepy and really hard to watch. I love him.
Yeah.
I adore him, but he's so, yeah. So yeah, Apple TV again. So Meg, your fours?
I'm going to go with One of them will be Heated Rivalry, which is on HBO, based on the Game Changers book series by Rachel Reed. It is the books are like, I haven't read all of them, but they're smut and it's fun. They're cute, spicy MLM romances. And Heated Rivalry is a show based off of them, and it's about these two hockey players that are arch enemies or arch rivals on the ice, but they are secretly having an affair that spans years off the ice, and obviously being in such a hyper masculine, in a lot of ways toxic sport. It's them trying to deal with it. This most recent episode, the season finale, and is coming out next Friday from this recording. So today, I guess, from but the last episode was it was really sweet. It took it from a show that I'm like, all right, this is all right. It's kind of more of a background thing to something like a bit more invested in, because it's like, okay, now we're getting more into the emotional depth, I guess, in the show, more than just these two guys hooking up over and over again. Then the other one is Dying for Sex, which was on FX, and it was with Michelle Williams, Jenny Slate, and Rob Delaney. And it's basically this woman who finds out that she's diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer. She leaves her husband that she'd been married to for 15 years and decides that she wants to spend what remains of her life fully exploring her own sexuality. And it's really, Michelle Williams is phenomenal in this show. It's beautiful. It's heartbreaking. It's infuriating. I mean, it's all kinds of things, but it's a wonderful show. And if you haven't seen it, you should watch it. It's a limited series, and I think there's only 8 episodes, so you can watch it on Hulu or FX.
Awesome. I need to watch everything you've mentioned. We might, because it's been requested by a couple people, we might do a special Patreon episode talking about Heated Rivalry. I haven't watched it yet, so I'm not sure when that'll happen, but I'm just letting you know in advance, people listening out there, to become a Patreon supporter, and you can possibly hear that bonus. And I've already got the people on the panel, because it's the people that have suggested it to me. I'm just like, okay. So we will potentially be covering that soon. So Sasha, your 4s?
Yep. My 4s are for my book, still maintaining the theme of, this is book 2 in a series. I think it's going to be a trilogy. It's Brimstone. It's the follow-up to Quicksilver. Romantasy, fantasy. She's super annoying, big, broody, 7-foot-tall tattooed guy. The best character is her best friend, who is a man whore. And I love him because he will sleep with anything, literally. And he has plants, and it just cracks me up. For my movie, I chose Heart Eyes, which we went to go see together. Horror, slasher, campy, fun. Like, it's got all the things that ticked all the boxes for me. So I loved Heart Eyes. And then my live theater that I saw was Hot Wing King, which is about a group of guys who are entering a hot wing competition. And he's got a super spicy pepper that he wants to add. The new kid who is up and coming and joining wants to be part of the Hot Wing King crew. It's like, oh, well, this isn't enough, and dumps all of the spicy pepper into it. And so they go, and then it becomes a challenge of who can eat the hottest wings. It's just this super fun. The cast, excuse me, Meg, you transferred it to me. How did you do that? I was fine 2 seconds ago. The entire cast for Hot Wing King they were stunning and amazing, and it was just a beautiful story. There were parts that made you laugh, made you cry. It was really a friendship-based thing. And randomly, I need to know if there's ways that you can see these shows later. Like, if you don't catch them, somebody's got to be doing it on YouTube somewhere, right? You know how they do, if they're not making a movie of it and you never see it again, how do you...
Yeah.
I want these in my life. is basically what I'm saying. Like, I wonder if the Denver Center records one.
I don't know. I think they do sometimes.
Yeah, live theater, people, live theater.
Yeah. Okay, I only have 2 for my number 4, and also a couple more coming up. The first up is a movie that I really, really want more people to see, and it's a movie called Twinless. This is one that I saw, like, they were doing, like, an advanced screening at Alamo, and it was, like, a free victory screening. I'm like, fine, I'll go. And the only thing I'm going to tell you about it, because really you should go in as blind as possible, because some stuff does change in this. But it's about a young man who's grieving the loss of his twin brother, and he joins a support group for twinless twins and meets another person there. And it was written and directed and stars James Sweeney. And then it also stars Dylan O'Brien. Now, I was not that familiar with Dylan O'Brien's work. I didn't watch Teen Wolf, but he is so, so fantastic. This almost made my top 3 performances. He's just blew me away. So, so good. Just, I don't want to tell you all of the reasons why he's good because it'll give away something, but I just loved this performance. And this movie is very funny. It's kind of darkly funny, but it's very funny. It's very touching. It might even make you cry. It's a lot about, grief and also just trying to fit in and how to find our place in the world. And it's just beautifully acted, beautifully written, beautifully directed. For fans of Gilmore Girls, Lauren Graham is also in this, plays the mother of Dylan O'Brien's character, Rocky. So, and his twin brother was Roman. And so I really, 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 really recommend this one. It was another one that was like a surprise. I have so many this year that were surprises, which is such a pleasant feeling to have so many surprise movies that like I wasn't expecting anything from, and they just blew me away. And this is definitely one of them. So if you can seek this out, do. I'm so happy that it was nominated for a couple of Independent Spirit Awards. So go support independent cinema. And once again, Dylan O'Brien is just fantastic in this movie. And then my other one for number 4 is a movie that I will probably never, ever watch again, but absolutely loved. And that's The Long Walk, which is based on a Stephen King novel. And it was one of the ones that he wrote under the name Richard Bachman. I am not a Stephen King fan. I've said that before. But this movie, and they changed the ending, and I'm so glad they did from what I've read. I'm not going to tell you how they changed it, but it works so much better. This movie is so hard to watch. It is, like a dystopian concept of people, these young men compete in this long walk where they have to maintain a certain mileage, and they have to walk a certain number of miles per hour kind of thing. And if they fall below that, they get a warning. You get a few warnings. And if you make it to number 3 and you don't keep moving, or if you stop and you don't start moving again, you get killed. And it's basically like seeing which boy makes it to the finish line and doesn't get killed. And so it's brutal. The killings, the murders are brutal. They are so brutal to watch. So please be aware of that. This is a heavy, heavy movie. There is some humor in it, though. I do want to add there is some humor in it, but it's so hard to watch because of the brutality and everything. But the performances are so, so good. I think the direction is fantastic. It's directed by someone who did The Hunger Games. And so it's like got that feel to it. And the friendships that develop between these young men and boys is just really beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time. And just, I just will not forget about this movie for a long time, especially the last scene. And like I said, it's so hard to watch. I probably will never watch this again unless I talk about it on some podcast or something, but it is fantastic. And I was not expecting anything from this movie. It's another one that actually surprised me too. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about our 3s through 2s. So we'll be right back. Okay, Carla, what comes in at number 3 for you?
Number 3 is a trio of movies that kind of are genre bending in their own ways. So the first one and it's been mentioned already, but Heart Eyes, because it's a horror movie, but it's also a comedy and it's also a romance. It's one of the funniest movies I watched this year. And Josh Rubin just excels at this kind of storytelling where it's hilarious, but it still has like genuinely scary moments. And it has some twists that are kind of predictable, some twists that are not. But overall, what it has just heaping scoops of is chemistry. The chemistry between the protagonist is great. Like, you really love them. And for me, I was like, what would it be like if this were just a straight up rom-com without, the stabbies? But it was so good. So good. Like, I've been thinking about it all year. And then these two movies I watched like back-to-back movie outings. And they're both, oh my God, they pretty much have like a grip on my soul that I don't know why they're doing this to me. I've done nothing to them. But the first one is Begonia, and it's already been mentioned. And for me, the reason that I liked it so much, and again, the whole genre bending thing is that there's a genre that I'm not really going to mention because that gets into spoilery things, but then the other genre is just comedy. It is a deeply funny movie. And just like Erin, I was surprised that not more people were laughing at some of the moments because I was like, guys, come on. This is really funny. I watched it twice, and I'm probably going to watch it like 13 more times. Maybe this year. Who knows? We still have a few days left, and I got some time. But I love it. I love it. What I love about Emma Stone's performance, without getting into spoilers even, is that she has this steely resolve. And she comes across as like just really, really cold. And then there are some moments where you just see past that. Jesse Plemons' character, wow. As the movie goes on and you see more of the things, that's all I can say. More of the things, you come to understand him more, and you come to not only understand, but maybe loathe him more, maybe have sympathy for him more, maybe want to shove him over a cliff more,
It's true.
Your mileage may vary, but so good. So good. Like every like moment of that movie I thought was done so, it's a very intentional way of storytelling. The comedy beats they don't detract from the serious parts, and the serious parts don't overwhelm the comedic elements. It's just such a beautifully balanced movie. And if, like me, you didn't know what the hell Begonia was before you watched this movie, and then you read into the concept of Begonia, you're like, holy hell, human knowledge has really evolved. Like, wow, we really believe this at one point? Holy cow. Speaking of cow, the whole concept of Begonia is that, like, the flies on a particular kind of ox that develop when the ox is a carcass, basically, that they believe that these flies were actually bees. And so they thought that these were like sacred bees because they just sprang up out of, and yeah, no, humans, we're not the brightest. And who knows, like, I can't wait for, like, who knows, 50 years down the line, find out all kinds of stuff that we thought was stuff, and it's not stuff, and it's different stuff. Wow, humans. Anyway, the third movie, and to me, the one that is sticking with me the most of these three is If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You is about a mom who is dealing with she's dealing with a lot because she's by herself. Her husband is off doing away work things. She has a job. She's a therapist. She's seeing a therapist. And her daughter is very ill. They don't really know what the deal is, but she is dealing with all of these things by herself. Meanwhile, by the way, her ceiling caves in because there's like a water leak coming from who knows where. So she's now dealing by herself with work and therapy and taking her daughter to these appointments. And also now her house doesn't work and now she has to live in a hotel. She's overwhelmed. You start to feel like, why am I overwhelmed? This is a movie. And it's still really funny. It has, oh my God. has such strong comedy in it. Rose Byrne's performance was amazing. It was so good. And I wish that more people would watch this movie. I think especially if you have children, you'll really relate to her character. And there are also moments where you want to punch her in the face. Totally valid, because she does some things that are very, very punchable in the face. But I really think that just anybody who likes a good storytelling thing would enjoy this movie. But I think particularly if you have kids, there are, especially towards the end, you really feel the ending. And all of these movies, like, I can't really say much because spoilers, but oh, so good.
Yeah, I'm bummed it left before I got a chance to see it. So yeah,
it's
been on my must watch forever. So
It was in theaters for a microsecond, and I'm offended.
Yeah.
Black Phone 2 was in movie theaters for like 30 months.
30 months. So, Erin A.
I'm specifically not watching Black Phone 2 because of Carla's review of it.
I'm an influencer?
You have influenced me.
Yes.
I only have 2 for this one. And it wasn't until I made my list and these 2 were on there. And then I realized that they have a lot of things in common. So they're both set in the 1800s and have this like kind of weird steampunky vibe. And the first one, I 1,000% started watching this show because it had Sterling K. Brown in it. And it's called Washington Black. And it's so good. I like it. It's on Disney Plus now, Hulu, Disney Plus, whatever is happening with that situation. And it's really good. It's like completely made up, and it's set in Nova Scotia, and he's an inventor. Sterling K. Brown is not. Washington Black is played by another actor who I am not familiar with, but it's really like interesting kind of. He makes these inventions that clearly, like, in our normal world would not work. They don't make sense. He's got, like, a flying ship, like an actual, like, wooden sailing in the ocean ship that flies. It's really nice, and it seems like kind of like a family. I don't know how to describe it. It seems like one of those shows, like, where when I was a kid, the whole family would sit down and watch it together. And I don't know if anybody does that anymore with streaming now, whenever you can just put anything on at any time. But it's really good. I think it deals with slavery a little bit in like a light, like how to introduce your kids to things that have happened sort of way. But also Sterling K. Brown and Tom Ellis, I think, are excellent. Tom Ellis is kind of like an icky character, sort of. But I thought it was really good. I think it might struggle to find out what audience it's for, because it's not really for adults. It's not really for kids. It's kind of like in between kind of area. And my second one is also like that. Like, I'm not sure who is going to watch it. If like it's not super for children, but it's not adult. Like, there's no bad language and nothing's bloody and scary or anything. But it's called Nautilus. It's a series on AMC Plus, and I think it's on Amazon Prime now. It was originally picked up by Disney and then dropped, and then AMC picked it up, I think because they would have had the same release date for these 2 shows that are very similar to each other. But Nautilus is really fun. It's like a reimagining of 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, and Captain Nemo steals the Nautilus and they go on adventures. And it's really, again, like for grown-up kids, I guess you would describe it. It seems like one of those things where we would have had the most fun in like the 70s, 80s, 90s, sitting down with your family and like watching this cool adventure show. But I think it was great. There's a lot of great actors in there. I'm going through the list and like I can't even pick out my favorite. Besides Captain Nemo, I just want to say this man's hair is perfect. Like, giving Finn a run for his money on his hair. You guys, I can't. It's so good. You just watch it to watch this man's hair. I don't even know. Hold on. Let me tell you his name. Shazad Latif. Oh my gosh. And his beautiful hair. You guys, you got to watch it. Anyway.
Valid.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah, I haven't heard of these. So thank you. That was interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard of them. So, Meg, your threes?
Okay. One of them is a show on Netflix called North of North. It is season 1 came out. There is a season 2 coming, and it's a Canadian movie that is shown through Netflix also, or not movie, TV show. But it's about a young Inuk mother, and she's basically trying to get a new fresh start and start over because she married right out of high school, and she's just trying to have a new identity, but she lives in a very, very, very tiny Arctic town. Like way pretty much as far north as people live up in the Arctic Circle in Canada. I just thought it was really good. You don't see very many TV shows that show the Inuit people in an accurate light, and knowing that all of like their traditional parkas and clothes and stuff that they made are made by the indigenous people there. So they wanted to feel authentic, and they wanted everyone in First Nations people to be able to see themselves within the thing. It's really funny. And yeah, it's only 8 episodes right now on Netflix. So it's another quick one you can watch, but it's sweet. It's funny. It reminded me vibe wise a lot like Schitt's Creek. Just kind of that same kind of energy, I guess, of a town full of very interesting characters. So, yeah. And then the other one, of course, is always going to be Abbott Elementary. I mean, every year, they haven't fallen off at all. I've really enjoyed it. I love Abbott. I don't know. Every season, I find something new to make me love it more. Yeah. So, I don't know.
Thank you. Yeah, I haven't heard of the first one, but thank you. I love it because some of these I've never heard of or haven't seen. So I'm getting my own list of
It's
stuff
really, really cute. Like I like it so much. It's just, like I said, it's 8 episodes, and it feels like it really captures a completely different lifestyle. Like I live in Wisconsin, but to just even that, just going that far north and like always winter, it's very cool. I like it a lot.
Cool. Awesome. So Sasha, you're 3?
Yep. Again, with the live theater, I got to see Little Shop of Horrors, which was super fun. The best part is a week before I saw it at the Denver Center, my students, that was their spring musical. So I got to see my students do Little Shop of Horrors, and they did a great job. It was adorable. They did a fantastic job. And then I saw it at the Denver Center and was like, you know what? My kids didn't do too bad. For a high school group where we don't actually have a drama class, it's a club. So it was pretty cool. So Little Shop of Horrors. Also, I did a quick Google, and apparently there's something called the National Theater, but it's for like British plays, I guess. But Hot Wing King should be on there at some point. You can subscribe to them, and then you can see plays. They record them for the National Theater. So anybody who wants to see live theater but feels like they can't, there are options. Just Google it. My movie was Springsteen. I loved it. I just thought it was fantastic. I like Bruce Springsteen. I thought they did a great job with it. No notes. And then my other 3 is the last book on my list. This is not a normal Sasha book. It is called The Time Traveler's Masquerade. It is a historical romance. Basically, this girl goes into a costume shop because her coworkers want to do Peter Pan theme. She's like, I need a Wendy costume. The shop owner's like, no, this is what you need. And she's like, no, I really need a Wendy costume. Like, this is what we're doing. She's like, no, why don't you just try this on while I go look for the Wendy costume? Puts her into a period piece. She goes to walk out of the dressing room and stumbles into 1605 London.
Wow.
She comes out of a woodshed and is like, WTF? Walks back into the woodshed, closes the door, opens the door, and is like, oh no, it's London. It's muddy. It's raining. I don't know what's happening. And basically is trying to prevent the gunpowder plot that happened. It's a real historical event. I know nothing about it. I knew nothing about it until I read the book. This is book 1 in a series, and it's going to be the Masquerade series. So basically you go to this costume shop and she's like, this is what you need. And then you get transported somewhere. So it was a lot of fun. And I'm going to promote, if you live in the Denver area, go to Spicy Librarian. It's a romance bookstore up in Rhino. And that's a friend of mine ended up with this book, and they do like a blind book that you can buy. It gives you kind of like a little bit of information. But she ended up, this was her blind book purchase, loved it, passed it off to me. I loved it. It's making the rounds through a group of friends, but Spicy Librarian is a romance only. And they have them broken down into like historical, contemporary, dark, fantasy, BIPOC, LGBTQ, something else that I can't remember right now. And they have a whole local author section. So that's my little plug for Spicy Librarian because this book was oodles of fun.
Awesome.
Those are my threes.
Awesome. Well, I again only have 2 for my number 3s. So the first one is One Battle After Another, which, Paul Thomas Anderson is my favorite screenwriter, my favorite filmmaker, but I hated Licorice Pizza so much that I was like, uh-oh, am I going to not like anything else again from Paul Thomas Anderson? But I really, really, really loved this one. This movie is nearly 3 hours long, but the editing is so good that it does not feel that way at all. Like this should win editing, in my opinion, because to be able to do that takes a lot of talent. And I think the performances are fantastic. Yes, I'm not a Leonardo DiCaprio fan, but I thought he was fantastic. I can't stand Sean Penn, and he was good at playing what might actually be who Sean Penn is. I have to say. I don't know this for a fact, of course, but I mean, and I also just want to give a shout out to Chase Infinity. This was like her first big role in a film, and she is so fantastic. And she plays Leonardo DiCaprio's daughter and also Tiana Taylor's daughter as well. And I'm not going to tell you much about Tiana Taylor's character because I think it's best that you just see it in the movie because she is also fantastic. But just, I love seeing like great, wonderful new actors, in film. And Chase Infinity was so fantastic. This is such a timely film. It also really, I think, speaks to the fact that, white people, we don't really do much when it comes to changing the system. We rely too heavily on other people, especially Black women, or we are lazy and we do a little bit and then we kind of give up. And you kind of see that in here too. And then also shout out to Benicio del Toro, who is getting overshadowed by Sean Penn's showier performance. But I think Benicio del Toro is the better supporting actor performance. So I would prefer him getting any kind of awards love over Sean Penn. I just want to add that in there because I think he does a fantastic job. And he helped create so much of what his character does, which is a credit also to Paul Thomas Anderson that he's so open to people doing that because he was like, this is what my character should do. I'm not going to tell you what it is because it'll be a spoiler. And I just really love that he did that. And I think he's fantastic. And then the other one I'm going to mention, and both of these, by the way, are on HBO Max. One Battle After Another is now on HBO Max. But if they re-release it, it's a beautiful film on screen. The next one I'm going to mention is Sorry Baby, which is trigger warning. It deals with sexual assault. You never see the sexual assault, which is amazing. You see kind of the moment before it happens and then the moment after, but you don't actually see it, which is just beautiful. And it's basically about a woman dealing with the sexual assault that she suffered when she was in college. And it's beautiful. It's funny. I don't know. I don't really want to say too much because I think people should just see it. But it's just, I think, a unique and different way at looking at sexual assault and the aftermath of it, where it's not just this simple thing of someone being very depressed all the time or anything like that. There's different levels and layers to what the character Agnes is going through. And it was written and directed by Eva Victor, who also plays Agnes, and they are fantastic in the film. It also co-stars Naomi Ackie, who is also fantastic as well. There's a great cat in this one. Another great cat. And he's not in it that much, but Lucas Hedges is in it as well. But also just other fantastic performances and just, like I said, such a beautiful way of dealing with such a traumatic subject. But if you have dealt with any kind of sexual assault or sexual harassment or anything in that area, especially if it involved being in college or a collegiate environment, this could probably be triggering. I know some of it was hard for me personally to watch, but it's a beautiful film. Okay, so number 2, we're almost to number 1, everybody. But number 2, Carla. So the runner-ups.
The ones that didn't quite make no. My top 3 tiers are things that I actually am putting as top 3. They're not like a jumbled mess like the rest of my 7. But okay, this one is internet things that brought me joy. The first one is the Hamilton Alexander go back to sleep trend on TikTok. That was delightful. It was so funny seeing all of the different interpretations of how Alexander could have been sneaking out. All of these like primarily women or femme presenting people in dressed like not like Alexander Hamilton per se, but like Lin-Manuel Miranda as Alexander Hamilton. It's hilarious. And if you haven't watched any of these TikToks, just, I don't know, like if you don't have TikTok, maybe look on YouTube. They've got to be somewhere and they're great. And I like that it expanded beyond just the initial trend format, which is just somebody dressed up, sneaking out of a window and talking to an imaginary Eliza and all of that. Some of them were like from the point of view of Eliza, some of them from the point of view of just like somebody observing the interaction, just wild and crazy fun stuff. I loved it so much. The next one is, okay, The Hunger Games But Better by Grace Ryder. And this is somebody being so original and creative and bringing back the art of parody. Because what she did is that for her 24th birthday, she gathered her friends at this place in, I think, Pennsylvania or something, rented a house just so that they could film for a few days. And over the course of those few days, they recreated the Hunger Games from memory, just like what she remembered of the story. And then they ad-libbed their dialogue, and it's hilarious. And Grace Ryder, I first saw when she was doing American Shorts on TikTok and YouTube. And she primarily works with like this group of other fellow young people who are all funny and they make skits. But she's always been a standout. She's just amazing. And it's so good. Like the production value is really amazing for this tiny little project that she just did for kicks. And it's become so big. It has like millions of views now. And it's being picked up by so many people who, she's done interviews now and she's becoming better known. She's on, I believe she's on The Paper Company now, that show. But I'm just really glad to see her getting the recognition that she deserves because she's always been fantastically talented. And then, okay, Smosh Summer Games. I've talked so much about Smosh Summer Games. I'm going to talk about it some more. Why? Because it has, for no reason, meant so much to me. It's come to mean so much to me. It's become like a huge deal in my life. And all it is, it's this group of comedians or just comedic people playing weird little games on their various Smosh channels. And it's a competition and it culminates in a kind of like high school talent show kind of performance showcase where they each have to impress this guy and get him to ask them to accept a date with them to prom. I can't explain it any better than that because that is all it is. But I love it. I love it so much that I put together a slideshow for Erin because she very graciously accepted a trade wherein she would watch Smosh Summer Games in exchange for me watching The Bear. And I think both of our lives have been enriched in equal ways because clearly they're both at the same standard of like talent and genius. They're both amazing things. But I really do love it's a lot of levity in a very heavy and dark year. And it's been kind of like a refuge for just fun nonsense. And it has, like, I liked Smosh before. I like it so much more now after the Summer Games. The cast has such good chemistry. Like, I don't know their lives. I don't know what goes on behind, once the cameras are off, but they just seem to genuinely like each other. So it's nice seeing people getting along and having fun and feeling like you're part of the fun somehow. And then infecting other people with the fun, like I did with Erin. So, you're welcome.
No, I had so much fun with that, I want to say, and I really did enjoy watching that. I apologize that it's not on my list. It doesn't mean I didn't love it, because I did love it, but spoiler. But I did. I really, and that the slideshow you put together was phenomenal. It made me
Thank
want to
you.
do one for the Halloween series, but I haven't gotten a chance to do that. But I want to do it because it inspired me to want to do that. So thank you for introducing that to me as well. So.
Well, I know it only hasn't come up because you don't want to, double up on the things being said. I totally get like, it would be on my list. So you were like, you know what? Let's let Carla have this one. I totally get it.
Yeah, there are a couple of things that have come up that if people have mentioned that like are just outside my top 10. So yeah, but I really did enjoy that. So thank you, Carla. So Erin A, your runner-ups.
My runner-ups. I have 2 number 2s. The first is the TV series Revival. It's based on a series of comic books. I read the first couple graphic novels. They compile them all, and I read the first couple books and then kind of just, never got another one, but they're good and I liked it. Then I saw that the show was coming out and I was very excited because it stars Melanie Scorafano, who is Winona Earp, and I adore her. And I was so excited. Like, I don't even care if this show is bad. I'm going to watch it 700 times. But it's really good. It's actually really good. Basically, the premise is, she's a small town cop. Her dad is the chief of police. And just one day, a bunch of people that died that day all come back to life. And like, nobody really knows why. And it's a mystery. And one of these people is her sister. And it's so good. There's a lot of twists and turns. And it's really interesting to see how the town reacts and solving all of these mysteries. And why did this happen? And, somebody was murdered and then came back to life and they don't know who murdered them. And it's so, so good. And it's set in the United States, somewhere cold. I don't remember Wisconsin Wisconsin. But it's clearly it's Canadian. It's got all of your favorite Canadian actors in it. So many crossover actors from Winona Earp and Letterkenny, and it's so good. Another very exciting part for me was there was a panel at San Diego Comic-Con for this. I got to go see them. I got to sit in like the third row. I was such just a giddy little fangirl, weirdo. And then I won the lottery to go get autographs. So I have a poster on my wall that is signed by the creators and the cast. And it was just such a magical experience because I am a huge nerd and I am aware of this fact. But it's also, the show is very, very good. Highly recommend it. My second one also has a long story to it. It's a Swedish movie called Watch the Skies, and it was just released in the United States this year because they did English dubbing on it, and it's a really sweet movie. Essentially, it's set in the 90s, and it's got this 90s feel. It's got the filming on it looks like, old Polaroid kind of coloring to it and stuff, but so it's nostalgic for us 90s kids. And basically this UFO club in Sweden, and this young girl, her dad just disappeared several years prior, and she's convinced that he wouldn't have left her. There's a reason. And so they go on this big adventure, and it's very kind of Stranger Things sort of a lot of very similar music to Stranger Things, which was a bit odd, but it's really sweet, and it's kind of sci-fi. It's about your found family and who you want to surround yourself with, which was really touching. But the interesting thing about this is that it uses AI dubbing, where the actors came back in and re-recorded everything in English, and then they used this AI tool to match their mouths on the film to match the English words, and it's wild. So I'm really intrigued about if people can use this tool responsibly. The cast and the creators and stuff have talked very positively about this, it being a tool and it's not creating anything from scratch. They are in control, which I think is really, really cool. I think it could open up a lot of other movies to the American audience. I don't mind dubbing, even whenever their lips don't match. Like, I don't care. I don't like watching subtitles because then I focus on the words and I can't see what's on the screen. So I thought it was really interesting, and I think it's a interesting technology to explore, and I kind of want to see if people can use it responsibly and if it doesn't go the wrong direction.
I wonder if they could do that with CGI and not use something that's destroying the environment.
Right.
I mean, really. I mean, there's got to be a way you could do that with CGI and not have to do it with that.
Yeah, it's interesting concept. Like, it seems so unnecessary to do.
Yeah.
But they've got a lot of attention on this movie because of it. But I think the movie itself is a good movie, and it would have been just fine using the original, film and not having to go through all that process. But it's technology that I hadn't heard of before, so I thought it was really interesting.
So, Meg, what are your runner-ups?
Well, I'm excited to hear you liked Revival. It was what I was looking at.
I love it
but
so
I
much.
was like, is it going to be too scary?
It's kind of scary, but it's not. It's good.
And I see it's TV 14 rated, but I'm like, that doesn't necessarily.
Yeah, no, like there's some like bloody stuff in it and stuff, but it's not like it's suspenseful kind of scary, maybe.
Yeah. Well, and
I
I love Winona Earp so much, so I wrote it down though because I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot.
You could do it.
God, I'm such a weenie. All right, so I have two number twos. First one, and I've already mentioned both of them in the last episode, though. But first one is Adolescence, and it's just, I think any parent, I think is something that they should absolutely watch. I think they do a great job of looking at like peer pressure and social media and all of like. I watched it and it was fantastic. I will never watch it again. It was just, I'm a parent of two teenagers, and it is a really hard struggle to try and balance their growing independence and their safety, especially online. And I think it's just, this movie is harrowing, this show, I keep calling it a movie. But it was so, so good. And the acting was fantastic. But it was very much something that I don't think I could watch again. I'm pretty sure they're doing another season. But I don't know. Maybe they're not. Either way, it's so good. It's basically a 13-year-old boy is accused of killing a classmate. And it's just like, it takes place with like interrogation and his family trying to deal with everything. And it's just, yeah, it's hard, but it's very, very good. And I think anybody who has kids should probably watch it at least once, because it is a lot of insight, I think, into a lot of stuff that's going on with kids that is really hard for parents to see and don't want to acknowledge. And the other one is The Pit, which is basically, it's probably, for me at least, one of the best medical dramas I've seen since ER. And it's not just because of Noah Wyle. I love Noah Wyle in it though, but it takes place, the first season is 15 episodes and each one is an hour of a 15-hour shift. And it's just from ER doctors and stuff. I've seen a lot of reactions from like actual like ER doctors and nurses and stuff talking about it. And they say it's probably the most realistic depiction of what it's actually like to be working in a really busy emergency room, because it takes place in Pittsburgh ER. It's good. It's another one that's really intense in a lot of ways. I will definitely be watching it again. I think, like I said, Noah Wyle is really, really good. It also does a lot to talk about and address a lot of the PTSD that hospital workers dealt with post-COVID or during COVID that I don't think anyone really seems to care about, apparently. Like, it's not something that's ever really addressed, is how traumatic, like, COVID was traumatic for everybody, but that situation, especially for people on the front lines of fighting a pandemic, I think it does a good job kind of touching on that a little bit and how it affects the staff now after the big hurdle and trauma of it is past. There is a trigger, like I would say, a trigger warning. There is a mass shooting that happens also, and that's also, it's a lot. It's very intense, but it's very, very good. And yeah, the second season I think is coming out really, really soon. I saw trailers for it and I got excited. So yeah, those are my number 2s.
Awesome. So, Sasha.
Yep, my number 2s. Good boy for movies. I won't go into it because we've talked about Indy and how he deserves all of the award-shaped treats. I maintain that. That is the hill I will kill somebody on. It's great. My live theater, I got to see Lizzie at the Aurora Fox Theater, based on Lizzie Borden musical. Very 80s-esque punk Joan Jett, the Runaways style music for Lizzie. It was amazing. It was super fun. Tiny itty bitty theater, like, I don't know, less than 50 people for the show. It was excellent. So Lizzie, I think it plays almost every year, or it has for several years in a row, played around October. So again, if you're in the Denver area, try and see that one. And then my number 2 is actually music. And oddly enough, I had seen the beginnings of this on social media, forgot that it existed. And then my husband's like, hey, somebody told me about this musical. And my husband does not like musicals, but it's Epic, the musical, which is the story of Odysseus that a guy did. I think it started on TikTok is where he did most of it. But the entire musical is now complete. It's been a couple-year process, I want to say. I see Meg shaking her head. So she's fact-checking for me over there because I don't know what I'm talking about. My husband was like, you need to listen to this. So I had seen a couple snippets of it and then finally did the whole thing. So Epic the Musical is what it's called, but it's the story of Odysseus. And yeah, so those are my 2s, my runners up.
My kids were obsessed with Epic, so I heard a lot.
Okay, yeah. It's good. It's fun.
It is real good.
Yeah, it's good.
Awesome. All these things that I haven't heard of. My runner-ups are brought to you by the letter A. So first up is the Peacock show All Her Fault, which has been mentioned already. And this show is so good. This was another surprise. I watched it not expecting anything. And I really didn't watch a lot of the reactions to it on TikTok or didn't read a lot about it. But the performances are so good. Jake Lacey plays probably one of the most despicable men I have ever seen in television, ever. Just hated his character. And there are so many twists to this but it doesn't feel contrived to me. It works. And this show would not work if it was not written and directed by women. This show would never work. It would be sleazy if it was written and directed by men, I think so. But it's fantastic. Love it. If you are a fan of twisty-turny dramas with incredible performances and that are written and directed by women, check it out. And then also, and Meg mentioned it, Adolescence, fantastic show that I will never watch again either. The performances just, oh my gosh, we've already talked about the young boy, but also Stephen Graham has a scene in this that is one of the most heartbreaking scenes I've seen all year. And I'm like tearing up just thinking about it. And he also is one of the creators of the show. Yeah. He's also one of the creators of the show. And he's fantastic too. He is in something that's in my number 1 as well. And I thought he was great in that too. He's just a really, really, really fantastic actor. And everybody in this show is great. There's an episode that is just with this psychiatrist and Oh my gosh. It's just, I don't want to say too much because I think you should just watch the show, but do know it's heavy and it's hard to watch at times, but the performances are so good and it's such an important show. So yeah, that's on Netflix, by the way. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, it is time for us to reveal what we consider the best of 2025. So we'll be right back. Okay, Carla, it is time for you to reveal to everyone what you think was the best in 2025. Your number one.
I am ready to flash everybody with my number one of 2025. Just expose myself publicly. Okay. Two of them are no surprise. The third one is no surprise to Erin. So one of them is Sinners. Oh my God, I'm so unique. I'm so amazing. Like nobody else will ever talk about Sinners ever again. Sinners is the best horror movie of 2025. It's also the best horror movie, the best vampire movie of like the decade. It has like all the things that you need from vampire movies, but it has like 15 added layers of social history, cultural relevance that rings true even today. It has great music. It has beautiful cinematography, and it has such good performances. The fact that, that we even have to think that it's not going to get the nominations that it deserves is just a testament to how much people look down on genre films, and particularly on genre films that are very Black. So in that sense, not surprising, but still disappointing that, society hasn't grown in its cultural mindset. But and I've talked about this movie a lot. I've talked about it here. I've talked about it on my streaming bubble. And after Jen and I finished recording the episode on my streaming bubble, we were like, we could probably talk about this for another 3 episodes because it just has so much and has little history Easter eggs hidden throughout in it. All of the things that it talks about as far as, just even vampire lore, bringing in hoodoo, bringing in things that are just very deep Black culture between the interaction of Black culture and Asian culture in that time and in a particular place, just beautifully woven into this story. So this movie, I think, is something beyond a horror movie and beyond a genre movie. It's just a fantastic movie. But for me, the movie that is slightly bigger than that is The Long Walk. I will never watch this movie again. I'm saying that now. Maybe in 10 years, I'll be like, oh, I'm tough now. I think I can take it. And then I'll watch it and I'll be like, completely eviscerated. And I have to make an appointment with my therapist and be like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna have to have 5 sessions in a row because I watched this movie that I know I shouldn't have watched again. It's completely heartbreaking. And part of the reason that it's so heartbreaking is that it's not out of the realm of possibility with how things are these days, putting it vaguely because these days extends beyond 2025. It's too easy to imagine it becoming a reality. And the fact that it doesn't rely on a supernatural element. There isn't some mythical bad guy out there who is causing these things. It is people causing these things, and people that we can recognize from our own reality. So that, just like, we often say humans are the real monsters. In this movie, humans are the real monsters. The performances are also mind-blowingly phenomenal. For me, it just has at least 2 of the best performances of the year. And I will never, ever, ever be the same after this movie. Like, this movie just broke something in me. And I don't mean that as a bad thing even. I think it's an important moment of clarity. It's a very sad moment of clarity, but it's a very important moment of clarity. It's basically the movie that's making me want to move to another country with my kid. So there's that. So anyway, but the number one of 2025 for me is the song Kid and Leverett by Yellowcur. And this song came out very early in the year, and it is the only music thing that I've mentioned this year. And part of it is because the only thing I've listened to this year is Yellowcur. But it's not just that, which, by the way, is an exaggeration. I listened to other things too. It's just none of them came out in 2025. But this song, the first time that I heard it, I wasn't sure what I was even listening to. It was this is back when I was a Spotify subscriber, which I no longer am. I am now in Kobas. If anybody wants to switch off of the supporting Spotify, that is also entangling itself with the AI and other dark sources of power. But, there was a Spotify, this is new, you might want to check it out playlist. And I never actually want to check out the things. I just put it on. I'm like, maybe this time. And this time I was like, oh my God, there's actually something on it that I would listen to more than once. And then I listened to it a couple thousand times. And my life is better for it because it's a great, beautiful song. The instrumentation is amazing. The vocal arrangement, the fact that it's two different voices and they're voiced by the same person. And then you get beyond that because eventually I started to listen to other stuff. It just happened to be by Yellowcur. And the other songs, similar. It's a whole world that this artist created and has like a very strong fandom, apparently. A lot of them are very young. The fandom, because it's like a fairy tale kind of thing, skews pretty young, but old people can be in it too. I am. So join me. Come listen to Yellowcur and vibe to Kid and Leverett. Hopefully you like it. And if you don't, well, more Yellowcur for me, I guess.
Awesome. Yeah, the reason music hasn't made, it has in the form of like some movies, but the music hasn't made mine is because I don't listen to anything current. And that's just because I'm old.
Same though.
So Erin A, what came in number one for you?
What a perfect transition because mine is music.
Oh, yay.
I also listen to very little new music, but I've got two bands that are actually Colorado local bands that have released new albums this year, and they're both exceptional. They're so good. So the first is the Dead Pioneers. They have a new album called Post American. If you're not familiar with them, first of all, the reason I listen to new music because there's not a lot of good new punk, and that's what I want to listen to. And this is so good. So they are a local punk band. The frontman, Greg Deal, is an artist and a performance artist and a musician. And his songs are primarily about the Indigenous experience. This album is so, so good. I don't even know how to describe it to you other than to read you some of the song titles because they're so good. There's one called My Spirit Animal, Ate Your Spirit Animal. The Caucasity, White Wine, WHINE. And it sounds so aggressive and I love it because yes, please. It's so good. And he does spoken word. The last track is a spoken word performance and they're so good and they're so good in person. I was lucky enough to go to the album release party for this and it was fantastic. I've decided this year that I want to start buying physical media of the music that I like. And so the things that I really like, I've started buying the digital download so I can listen to it on my phone and buying the vinyl record. So this is like my third vinyl album that I own is now this. And so I don't know what I'm going to do with them. My record player that I have is like one of those big console ones from like 1950 and I don't even know if it works, but I'm going to figure it out. But it's a really fantastic album. And Greg also did the cover art for it. It's so good. And my second one is a band from Colorado Springs called Cheap Perfume. And we got to see them in concert live this year too. And they have a brand new album that just came out not too long ago, maybe a month ago or so. And it's called Don't Care, Didn't Ask. And again, another really fantastic punk band with a female lead. They, again, are just singing such relevant songs right now. I would like to also give you some song titles. The first song in the album is called Probably It's Capitalism. And so again, it's really great. There's, let's see, what's some other really great song titles here. Woke Mind Virus. Yes, it's what you think. Down to Riot. It's a catchy song, but it's really great. They're so good. Again, I bought the digital download and the vinyl for this, and they're beautiful. And I'm really enjoying looking at like my pretty little records, things that I actually own. And so those are my two favorite albums of this year that are just getting like nonstop plays all of the time. It's really nice to be able to put them like one earbud in and go to the grocery store and listen to this music and not whatever is playing. And so it's been fun. And then I have one more music related thing of this year. I finally got to go to the Punk Rock Bowling Music Festival, and it was life-changing. It's so good. People say like the friendliest people you meet are in a mosh pit, and like that's so accurate. And the festival itself, just everyone was so nice and so friendly. And I got to see my favorite band of all time, Social Distortion, and I haven't seen them in a little bit. And it's just, I'm sad that this is the 25th year for this music festival. It's in Las Vegas, and I'm like crushed now that I haven't gotten to go to more. And so if you do like punk music and you just want to be around a bunch of like really nice, friendly punks and hang out, it's like, I didn't know anyone there. It was just me and my husband, but everyone was so nice, like just chatting up. Like they didn't care if they didn't know who you were. Like it's just such a nice environment compared to other music festivals that I've been to. It felt like very, very small, even though it was huge. It was really cool.
Awesome. Thank you. And Meg, what came in first place for you?
I just have one first place one, and I feel like it can probably be guessed since I haven't said it yet. So the Mighty Nine animated series came out last month on Amazon Prime. And it's based, again, a Critical Role tabletop campaign that I have loved for quite a while. And I've been waiting for so long. Carla has had to put up with me sending her. I'm like, I know you don't know what any of this is, but I don't have other people to talk to about it. So look at these cute fan vids of characters you have no idea. And not even like artwork, just voice actors voicing the situation with no context for Carla or anything like that. But I've been waiting for so long. I've been wanting to see this campaign animated, and it's been like years and years and years of waiting. And like it finally came out, and it's so good. And it's a lot easier for me to like poke at people and say, hey, you should check out this 8-episode season of TV instead of, hey, you should listen to 600 hours on tabletop role-playing game. But it's just so good. I don't normally watch a lot of animated stuff, but this is, and yes, it is animated, but it is absolutely not for kids. It is an adult series, but it's just so good. It's about like, there's a lot of moral grayness. There's these people who are just in their lowest points. Well, I say people, but there are different species. There's goblin, half orc, tieflings, all this kind of stuff that are just in kind of a really bad point in their life when they all kind of come together reluctantly, and they are not friendly together or anything like that, but somehow they have to try and figure out how to work together. And I don't want to give like spoilers to too much stuff because it's a lot, but it's so good. It's so much better than I thought it could be. I knew it could be good, but it's just so well done. If you watch The Legends of Vox Machina, this is by the same creators. It's just based on a different campaign that takes place on a different continent 20 years after The Legends of Vox Machina takes place. So you don't have to watch both. You don't have to have watched the campaign on YouTube or anything like that, because they're doing a really good job of streamlining it and taking so much content and making it a little bit more focused. But no, I love it so much. My biggest regret these days is agreeing to wait and watch with my husband and my 17-year-old, because that means I can't immediately watch it when it comes out. I have to wait till we're all ready. And the season finale comes out real soon. It'll be out by the time this airs. But yeah, I love it so much, and I want everybody to watch it because I need people to talk to about it, because I need to spread the obsession around a little. I need to spread it around a little bit, because it's getting intense for other people.
Awesome. Thank you. And Sasha, what came in first place for you?
No surprise, my movie first place was Sinners. Much like Carla said, just all the things. It's just a beautiful film. The whole music scene is stunning. Please see Sinners. It's my top movie. For music, my top one that came in is new artist that I've discovered. Her name is Ruby Darkrose. She does music for dark romance. Shocker. So she's got like Biker Boy and Biker Boy Meets Book Talk Girl and stuff like that. So you can go to her website. You don't have to use, the Spotify. You can go to her website. She talks about how she got into it. She's not a musician by nature. She's a writer, but she found tools to help her create these, which might be code for AI, is going to be my guess, but she's doing it however she's doing it. The songs are very much earworms. If you are a dark romance reader, you are going to want to check out her stuff because it's addicting and it's great. I love it. And then my final live theater is Nightmare on Strip Street, which was a burlesque show that we got to go see. That was amazing and fantastic. And anybody who tells you that burlesque is not an art form is a damn dirty liar. And I would like to see them try and do that pole routine. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Because they are elite athletes that do this. I don't know how they do it. I watch them and I'm like, do you have a spine? Where is your spine? How are you moving like that? You should not be able to fold yourself in half, sit on your head and dance around your skull. Where is your spine? I don't get it. So my final live theater was Nightmare on Strip Street. Again, burlesque show. I do believe it's still on tour. It's by the same people who did the Empire Strips Back, the Star Wars themed one. So, go see these shows, people. They are entertaining as all get out. You will laugh. It's a good time. So, those are my top things for the year.
Yeah, I'm amazed. I think maybe my brain died that I didn't put that in my top 10 because I saw it twice.
Yeah.
It's so much fun.
You didn't say it, and I was like, what is happening?
I know. I think it's just my brain died and I forgot to even think about including it, but I loved it. So it probably would have been like one of those ones that doesn't have a 3 in them. It's placed there. So, because my number ones have 3s in them. So yeah, it was a ton of fun. Burlesque is an art form for sure. So my number ones first, and then the other two kind of have a weird theme with them. But the first one is Sinners. I'm not going to add much. You can go listen to our episode talking about Sinners and you can hear my thoughts there. And then the next two relate only because these are two forms of art that have been really essential in me dealing with the grief of the loss of my father and everything surrounding that. And the first is The Bear, discovering The Bear this year to cover it. It's just that show. Go listen to our episode talking about The Bear and then become a Patreon supporter. And you can hear us talking about season 4 from this year and spoiling it. And then, of course, the Sid Carmi special that Carla and I did. But those first two that I mentioned, I talk a little bit about that, about how this is connected so much to my dad because this is such a Chicago show. It's so Chicago. And my dad and my dad's family is all from Chicago. And a lot of the people remind me of my dad, especially Richie. And Richie is my absolute favorite character on the show. Started out as someone that I hated and then had probably the best character growth I've ever seen, period. And Eben Moss-Bacharach is so great in that role as well. And so it's been very healing watching that show, especially watching him. And even though I ship Carmi and Sid, Richie is my favorite character. And I just think the show is fantastic. And I wish they'd never nominated it in comedy because it's not a comedy. But there are funny moments. But I can't say too much about it because I could seriously do a whole other podcast just about The Bear. I'm not going to do that, but I could. And then lastly is Springsteen, Deliver Me from Nowhere, which I was already predisposed to like this movie because I happen to like music biopics when they're done right. I know people hate on them. I don't give a shit. I love them. This, I was not prepared for what this movie would do to me emotionally. This movie made me think of my dad, and I knew it was dealing with father-son relationships, but I wasn't expecting to have the emotional wallop that it did. This is really a character study and also a study of someone who, with the Bruce Springsteen, who is dealing also with their own struggles with their own mental health. And, and there's a scene involving therapy that is absolutely beautiful. Jeremy Allen White is amazing. And it really makes me sad that he might miss out on an Oscar nomination. But there's a scene in here between Bruce Springsteen and his dad that is so reminiscent of the last time I saw my dad that it just knocked me on my feet. And I remember I started crying, and I cried off and on for the rest of the movie. Sarah saw it with me, and Sarah snuck me a little tissue. And then when it was over, I was like, oh my gosh, that was a gut punch, and just started sobbing. I cried all the way home. I cried for a couple of days every time I would think about it. I saw it again and cried. And it's one of those that I understand people have legitimate criticisms of this movie. There are legitimate critiques of it. But for me, I can't hear any of that because this movie means so much to me personally. And I am planning on some time doing just a special episode, probably just for Patreon, but we'll see, just talking about why this movie means so much to me and the power of music and everything. So yeah, so that is really my number one most important piece of media this year, was definitely Springsteen. So yeah, now it is time to share some DMs that I got from some of our other frequent panelists, sharing with me some of their favorites in film, television, music, and books and podcasts as well. We did get a shout out for some podcasts too. And you will hear, of course, some things that have already been mentioned, but I wanted to give them a shout out. So first up is Sarah. So let me give you what some of Sarah's favorites were from 2025. Sarah's top album of the year was Ghost Skeleton. And as she says, because duh. Top TV shows were The Pit, All Her Fault, Paradise, and The Bear. Movies were Good Boy, shout out to Indy, The Long Walk, Sinners, and Weapons. And then I also got some DMs from Tiff and Bex. So first up from Tiff, Sinners, Thunderbolts, and The Diplomat. From Bex, top music was K-pop Demon Hunter's soundtrack. Top show was Pluribus. Top movies were Sinners and K-pop Demon Hunters and The Secret Agent. Top podcasts were Shoulda Books and Hard Launch. And top book was The Broposal by Sonora Reyes. So thank you so much for DMing me those. I appreciate it. Okay, so we aren't going to play 6 Degrees of Finn Whitrock because we just do not have time. So we're going to go ahead and wrap up, and my lovely panelists can say where they can be found and where their podcast can be found. So Carla from OK Real Quick.
Thank you. You can find OK Real Quick wherever you found this podcast. You can find our social media at OK Real Quick Pod on social media spaces that you can look for us, and maybe we'll be there. Maybe we won't, though. It's a crapshoot. You can also find me, my art, and my musings on Blue Sky and on TikTok. And you can find me on my website. That's carlatemis.com. That's CarlaTemis.com.
Awesome. Thank you. And Erin A.
I am mostly on Instagram, and I'm in the It's a Fandom Thing Discord channels, all of the channels, and I'm trying to be on Blue Sky, but everywhere I am at Geek and Sew. That's what I do. I geek and I sew things.
Awesome. Thank you. And Meg.
I'm not on much of anything these days, but if I am anywhere, it's under at Wisconsinach, which is WISCONSENNACH. Discord is probably your best bet to find me, but you probably have to tag me. I turned off push notifications of all my social media, and so now I'm just like, except for a couple things. So that's fun.
And Sasha.
Yeah, you can only find me on the Instagram because I am in hibernation mode and avoiding all the things, but it's Vegan Geek Chick on the gram.
Awesome. Thanks. And you can follow Fergie, who loved Sinners, loved a bunch of other horror movies that we watched throughout the year. And she loves also Abbott Elementary, so she's been excited that that's back. And she loves true crime. And you can follow her on TikTok at Schroeder and Fergs. That's SCHROEDERANDFERGS. It's long, but it's worth it. To find links to all of our past episodes, including the ones that we discussed, some of the films and television shows that were mentioned today, and also to find links to our social media, including our Discord server, head on over to our website. It's a fandomthingpod.com. And while you're there, consider becoming a Patreon supporter today. For as little as $3 a month, you get ad-free content, you get episodes a day early, you get bonus episodes, and occasionally you win prizes. So you can find the link in our show notes or on our website. It's a fandomthingpod.com under the Support Us tab. And next week, guess what time it is, everybody? It is Christian fucking Bale month. So we will be back to talk about Thor, Love and Thunder. It was Carla's pick for the month. So you do not want to miss a Christian Bale episode because you never know who might pop up. So I'm very, very excited to kick off Christian fucking Bale month. So until next time, remember, it's a fandom thing. Black Lives Matter, stop Asian hate, and free Palestine.